Welcome to Numisnerd, where hidden coins become hidden wealth.
Now take a close look at this coin. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary silver quarter. Familiar. Heavy in the hand. The kind of coin most people assume is common, simply because it comes from the 1950s. But this is a 1956 Washington quarter dollar, and its value is not about rarity in numbers. It is about rarity in survival. 1956 was a time of confidence in America. The post-war economy was strong, businesses were booming, and money moved fast. Coins were used constantly in daily life. Quarters changed hands at gas stations, grocery stores, parking meters, and diners. Almost no one thought about saving them, and preservation was never a priority. That decision shaped the future value of this coin. The design is instantly recognizable. George Washington's profile faces left, calm and dignified, with liberty above his head and in God we trust beside his neck. On the reverse, the eagle stands with outstretched wings, arrows in its talons, symbolizing strength and readiness. It was a trusted design, so familiar that most people barely noticed it anymore. The 1956 Washington quarter was struck at 3 mints: Philadelphia, which carries no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D; and San Francisco, marked with an S. All three produced large numbers, but quality varied greatly. Many coins were weakly struck. Bag marks were common. Original luster was often lost before the coin ever entered circulation. That matters today. Collectors do not chase this coin because it is hard to find. They chase it because it is hard to find right. Strong hair detail on Washington, sharp feathers on the eagle, clean fields, full, original luster that moves smoothly across the surface in the light. These qualities are extremely uncommon for this date. A small number of 1956 Washington quarters survived untouched. They were stored carefully, never cleaned, never mishandled. These coins are the exceptions, and collectors compete aggressively when one appears on the market. The highest recorded price for a 1956 Washington quarter has exceeded $30,000 at public auction in top-grade condition. Pause on that for a moment. A coin with a face value of 25 cents selling for the price of a new car, simply because it survived when almost none did. Even slightly lower mint state examples can still sell for thousands of dollars. And circulated examples always carry value, because they are made of 90% silver. But condition is what separates ordinary silver from extraordinary value.
Here's what most people never realize. These quarters still exist in old collections, inherited boxes, and estate holdings where no one ever examined them closely. Because there is no dramatic error or famous story attached, many people assume there is nothing special to check. That is a mistake. If you ever come across a 1956 Washington quarter, slow down. Examine the surfaces carefully. Look for original luster that flows naturally across the coin. Study the strike detail in Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers. And whatever you do, never clean it. Cleaning permanently destroys collector value. If the coin looks unusually sharp or well preserved, have it professionally authenticated and graded. Because sometimes value is not about how rare a coin was made, it is about how rare it is to find one that survived exactly as it should. And the next valuable quarter might already be sitting quietly in your hands. Looks completely ordinary. A modern Washington quarter, copper and nickel. The kind of coin most people spend without a second thought. But this is a 1974 Washington quarter dollar, and under the right circumstances, it can hide a value most people never expect. 1974 was a year of massive coin production in the United States. Inflation was high, money was moving fast, and the US Mint was striking quarters in huge numbers to meet demand. Because of that, most people assume every 1974 quarter is common and worthless. That assumption is exactly how valuable examples slip through unnoticed. The design is familiar. George Washington's profile faces left, with liberty above his head and in God we trust beside his neck. On the reverse, the eagle stands with outstretched wings, arrows in its talons. Americans had seen this design for decades, and that familiarity made it easy to ignore. But rarity doesn't always come from age or precious metal. Sometimes it comes from mistakes. Among the millions of 1974 Washington quarters struck, a very small number were created with significant mint errors. The most important is the double die obverse. On true double die examples, the lettering shows clear, raised doubling, liberty, in God we trust, even parts of the date. This is not wear or damage, it is a mistake made during die preparation. creating a coin that was never meant to exist. Most people never notice this because the doubling often requires close inspection or magnification. That's why many of these quarters entered circulation and were spent like ordinary change. Condition makes all the difference. A double die quarter that is worn can still be valuable, but one that survived in high mint state condition is extremely rare. Most were scratched or damaged long before collectors knew what to look for. Because of that scarcity, collector demand can be intense. In rare cases, elite double die examples have crossed into five-figure territory, with confirmed prices ranging from $10,000 to $12,000. When the doubling is strong and the condition is exceptional, pause on that for a moment. A quarter with a face value of 25 cents reaching a value most people would never imagine. Even lower-grade double die examples can sell for hundreds or thousands of dollars, depending on how clear the error is. That's why collectors never completely ignore this date, no matter how common it seems. Here's what most people never realize. These quarters are still out there, sitting in jars, old rolls, drawers filled with loose change. And because they look ordinary, they're rarely examined closely. So if you ever come across a 1974 Washington quarter, slow down. Look carefully at the lettering. Use magnification. Search for strong doubling, not flatware. And whatever you do, never clean it. Cleaning can destroy the very detail that gives the coin its value, because even a modern-looking quarter can become a hidden fortune when it breaks the rules of minting.